Yes, just tell me whether you are able to see the presentation in a slideshow. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have done with the first practical for a day. That is the detection of organic acids using the TLC. And now we are shifting towards the another practical that has been planned for a day, that is the anaerobic fermentation. Okay. So though anaerobic fermentation term has been discussed so far, and you are so much familiar with this particular term, but now we are performing this practical as a part of a paper 3 practical, that is the biochemistry. Okay. Obviously, we cannot exclude the all other aspects regarding the anaerobic fermentation while we are going to the biochemical aspects, and that's why I've just put down something regarding the basics of anaerobic fermentation. And in starting of that itself, I am just expecting some of the definitions, or simply saying some description regarding the anaerobic fermentation. So yes, can you just define the anaerobic fermentation in a words, whatever you know right now? Yes, please go ahead.
So utilization of any carbon source or energy source or the absence of oxygen.
Okay, yes. Yes, so simply saying utilization of different types of substrates, mainly the sugar molecules, in absence of oxygen to generate the different types of other nutrients which are required for the growth of the cells, and obviously the energy in the form of ATP. Yes. Anything else? Someone from?
Various byproducts are also formed in this process.
Okay. Can you just extend your answer with a little bit justification?
Like carbon dioxide is released, and can also lead to formation of methane.
Okay. Yes, so anaerobic fermentation, you will say fermentation is always anaerobic. Then why you are saying something like anaerobic fermentation? But obviously, strictly saying, as far as the industrial microbiology is concerned, we already discussed about the fermentation. All types of bioprocesses which are occurring, or we can say the all types of biochemical reactions which are occurring into the biological system and generating industrially important fermentation product, which are commonly being called as these all bioprocesses, biochemical reactions are commonly being called as the fermentations. But as we have already just mentioned, that this is in context of the paper 3, that is the biochemistry, and that's why that fermentation term is somewhat different that we are going to discuss here, and that's why we have made it a little bit more specific, that is something as a anaerobic fermentation. So obviously that fermentation or any fermentation taking place in absence of oxygen, that can be simply called as an anaerobic fermentation. But overall aspects which are related with the actual biochemical view, which are something different than the actual anaerobic fermentation. Okay. So obviously you might, I think, yes, is it covered in theory? Yes or no? I think it has been still remain, I think. Yes, students, are you done with the different fermentations in theory? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Okay. So in I think semester 5 itself, you are having the different types of fermentations. In that, you are having the separate part where you will be studying about the anaerobic fermentations. Okay. So you will say that anaerobic fermentation, then how we are supposed to go for their examples? Because as you are saying fermentation is always anaerobic, then why you are supposed to add the adjective, something like anaerobic fermentation? And that's why I have just put down the second definition, or we can say the simple explanation for that anaerobic fermentation. So the fermentation that is actually getting activated on occurring once there is a complete absence of oxygen, such type of fermentation can be called as a anaerobic fermentation. Otherwise, fermentation itself is any biochemical reaction that occurs into the anaerobic conditions. Okay, so in that term, actually we can encompass the different types of biochemical reactions. But being anaerobic fermentations, some of the fermentation can be actually get differentiated from the simple types of fermentation that we actually deal with the deal into the industrial microbiology. And that's why I have just added some of the examples. So yes, before going for the examples, I'm expecting some of the examples of anaerobic fermentation from your side so that we can continue with the discussion. Yes. Some of the common examples. Yes, please. Yes, lactic acid fermentation, correct. So what are the different types of organisms which are commonly being involved in lactic acid fermentation? I think we have discussed already in last week.
Lactic acid bacteria.
Yes, lactic acid bacteria are responsible for that fermentation, which is called as lactic acid fermentation. And that is one of the common example of anaerobic fermentation. Yes, anything else? Okay, no issue. So yes, I have just tried to put some of the examples over here. So I have just added some of the common examples. Some of them might have been missed while you are just thinking on it. So except from the last one, obviously last one is something as a more industrially relevant. Okay, but I have just added that also so that we can just correlate with the industrial microbiology also. So these are just some of the common examples of the anaerobic fermentation. So now you will be just realizing that yes, there are such type of anaerobic fermentation which are actually occurring into the nature, and some of them are actually manipulated for the industrial production also, so that we can get the different types of products which are having industrial importance, and that's why industry can gain the economic benefit. Okay, so you are having anaerobic digestion process in ruminant system that occurs in a natural way, and obviously that part can be made as one of the application where we actually digest the waste, the industrial waste, using the anaerobic digester. So that is one of the application. Ethanol fermentation, that is the ethanol production, is also one of the anaerobic fermentation that we are so much familiar with. Butyric acid fermentation, and lastly the titanous neurotoxin production. So this is something having the industrial relevance, because the organism that is being used is nothing but the Clostridium tetani, which is nothing but the strictly anaerobic organism. And whenever you are producing such type of toxin for the vaccine development or any other purposes, you need to cultivate that organism, Clostridium tetani, under the highly or strictly anaerobic condition. And as far as the industry concerned, that fermentation is also one of the example of anaerobic fermentation. Otherwise, remaining 5 examples are strictly belonging to the biochemically anaerobic fermentations. Okay. Out of these different types of fermentation, one fermentation which is called as a stormy fermentation, and this practical is thus included from last year in your syllabus, and that's why I think it is not yet performed in a laboratory as such. So obviously the last year itself was from online mode of practicals, and that's why after inclusion of this particular practical in our syllabus, this practical hasn't been performed in a laboratory, but there is a one media that is actually allowing us to perform this practical something as a demonstration one, because obviously it is somewhat difficult to culture and maintain the anaerobic or strictly anaerobic organism like Clostridium species. And because of these particular types of hurdles or difficulties, we are supposed to be very we can say particular and strict about the maintenance of an anaerobic condition. Obviously anaerobic condition can be maintained in our laboratory by using that anaerobic jar, or by using that one of the chamber which is called as an anaerobic chamber. So there we can actually cultivate such type of organisms. But being some of the, or being one of the highly susceptible and sensitive to the atmospheric oxygen, we are not supposed to allow any oxygen exposure to such type of cultures. Otherwise these cultures are supposed to be get killed in presence of atmospheric or any form of oxygen, because these are strictly or obligate anaerobes. Okay, and that's why we are supposed to take care of that. Otherwise cultivation and maintenance of such anaerobic culture is somewhat difficult, and that part we have already discussed in medical practical also. And that's why we have just excluded some of the aerobic, some of the strictly anaerobic potential pathogen from our list of the causative agents. Okay, but obviously there are some techniques by which we can actually culture and maintain the organism inside our laboratory also, which can be further assessed for the demonstration of such type of experiments, one of them being the stormy fermentation. So as far as the term is concerned, I think this is the term that you might have not heard that much frequently and familiarly in your previous part of studies. Okay, yes, any one of you, have you heard this term previously for any time, or we can say in your reading at all? Yes or no? And if you know, then please share with us so that others can get something idea about it. Yes? Stormy fermentation?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Yes, it's okay. So obviously this is one of the new practical that has been included over here. And simply we can say stormy fermentation. Stormy fermentation is one of the example of a anaerobic fermentation which can be easily demonstrated in our laboratory also. Obviously we can directly go for the ethanol fermentation also, which is one of the common and simplest way for the demonstration of a anaerobic fermentation. Okay, but we have just included something else which is nowadays commonly being used as one of the common example of an anaerobic fermentation, that is the stormy fermentation. Obviously some of the laboratories are not preparing this because of the organism to be cultivated, that is the strictly anaerobic one. I am just talking about the Clostridium perfringens. So stormy fermentation, it is one of the characteristic type of a biochemical result shown by Clostridium perfringens when it is cultured anaerobically in a nutritious media. One of them is commonly being used, litmus skim milk medium. Okay. So this is the organism which is responsible for such type of results which can allow us for the demonstration of a stormy fermentation. That is one of the common example of a anaerobic fermentation nowadays. Okay. Medium to be is a litmus skim milk medium. Before going for that, I would like to just listen from your end. What is the clinical relevance of a Clostridium perfringens? At least 1 to 2 sentences, that will be enough. Because now we are not dealing with the medical practical, but obviously this is having some of the medical relevance also. But that's why I'm expecting some of the points regarding the Clostridium perfringens in this particular particular point of time. Yes, any one of you?
So gas gangrene is
Yes,
related to it.
yes,
The
right.
toxin produced by perfringens.
Yes, yes, correctly said. I was just going to give one hint like gas gangrene itself because it was just discussed whenever we were discussing about the skin infections. But before I could give the hint, you have correctly mentioned it. Okay. So Clostridium perfringens is one of the potential pathogen and causing some of the specific type of infections and diseases into the human being some of the common one like gas gangrene and the cooked meat associated food poisoning, etc. Okay. So gas gangrene is one of the common and predominantly found infection caused by Clostridium perfringens. Okay, so this is something as a common term that is being used on the basis of the characteristic observation that is developed once there is an infection by Clostridium perfringens. Okay, so there is a blackening of the overall mass that is getting infected, and that's why this common type there is obviously formation of different types of gases, blackening, that is the necrotic tissues are observed because of the continuous killing of that host cells by Clostridium perfringens, and that's why overall mass is something looking like a blackish one, something as getting burned one. Okay, and because of that, obviously this organism is capable of producing different types of gases under that anaerobic condition commonly found into that deeper muscles, and that's why this is called as a gas gangrene. Obviously, as far as the vigilance factors are concerned, Clostridium perfringens is able to produce at least near about 10 different types of highly potent type of toxins. Okay, I have just put that slide at the end, but that is not discussing right now. Okay, so this is the we can say the clinical importance or significance of Clostridium perfringens. And I'm just adding this point over here because historically Clostridium perfringens was known to cause a variety of gas gangrene and related types of infections after the wars like World War I and all. Okay, at that time the scientists were actually trying to devise one of the confirmative type of a biochemical test which can detect and confirm the presence of Clostridium perfringens into the given clinical samples. And that's actually nothing but the demonstration of a stormy fermentation, because stormy fermentation is something as a characteristic biochemical result or observation of a Clostridium perfringens. And that's why I have just added that what is actual that origin of the stormy fermentation, मतलब ये एक्सपेरिमेंट कब डिवाइस किया गया था और उसका वहाँ पे रिलेवेंस क्या था, उसका एप्लीकेशन वहाँ पे क्या था. ओके, उस टाइम पे बहुत से इंजरीज हो रहे थे और पोस्ट वॉर इंजरी के बाद बहुत से वहाँ पे सोल्जर्स की डेथ हो रही थी. And all types of we can say the pathologists and doctors were actually working for detection and confirmation of a main causative agent, which was nothing but the Clostridium perfringens. And during that time actually there was a application of a stormy fermentation for detection and the confirmation of Clostridium perfringens. But nowadays obviously we are performing as a part of our demonstration of a anaerobic fermentation. Okay, Obviously, it can be also used as one of the technique for detection and the confirmation of a Clostridium perfringens into the different types of environmental samples also. So medium to be used is a litmus skim milk medium. As you know, Clostridium perfringens, just a minute. As you know, Clostridium perfringens is a obligately strictly anaerobic organism. Being apart from this particular characteristic, it is also one of the organism which is having the glycolysis occurring effectively, but lacking different types of enzyme which are required for the synthesis of amino acids. And that's why whenever you are cultivating Clostridium species, including Clostridium perfringens, you need to provide the all types of rich sources of nutrients, including amino acids, vitamins, and all. Obviously, anaerobic condition is one of the basic requirement, but apart from that, you are supposed to provide the all types of basic types of requirements regarding amino acids, vitamins, and different types of other growth factors, so that these organisms can grow easily under the anaerobic conditions. And that's why we can take the simple example of a enriched type of medium or a highly nutritious type of medium, that is the medium containing milk ingredients or a milk components. So we are using one example, we are using one medium over here, that is the litmus skim milk medium. Okay. And the main part, that is the outcome of that Stromy fermentation, is actually because of this variety of biochemical reactions which are carried out, or we can say which are catalyzed by the number of enzymes which are present to the Clostridium perfringens. So Stromy fermentation is demonstrated because of this particular set of biochemical reactions which are carried out by the Clostridium perfringens. First one, coagulation of the casein being provided from the milk components, that is skim milk. Then obviously, being one of the aerogenic organism, this organism Clostridium perfringens is able to release out the high amount of a gas, mainly hydrogen and the CO2. Again, there is also fragmentation of a curd that is being produced because of the acidity. Whatever cream layer is supposed to be there in that particular medium in the test tube, that cream layer is also getting disturbed because of the high production of a gas and all types of other metabolic products. And obviously there is some amount of butyric acid is also getting produced, because of which we can get the detectable odor of the butyric acid, which is also one of the characteristic of the Stromy fermentation. So we can say overall outcome of a Stromy fermentation is nothing but the outcome of these all types of biochemical reactions which are occurring into that particular medium whenever we are cultivating the Clostridium perfringens under the anaerobic condition using litmus skim milk medium. Okay, so that was something about the basic part regarding the Stromy fermentation. So obviously Stromy fermentation is one of the biochemical tests also that is used for the confirmation of the Clostridium perfringens, but other organisms are also confirmed, or we can say other organisms are also analyzed using this particular medium also, and that test at that time is called as a litmus skim milk test. Okay, so litmus milk or litmus skim milk test is also one of the tests being a part of the biochemical test, and can be used for the detection of other types of organisms also like Enterobacteriaceae family members. Okay, so वहाँ पे भी किसी किसी organism के लिए ये वाला test use करते हैं. So you might have also read that it is also one of the biochemical test. I have just tried to put one pathway over here because we are now dealing with one of the paper practical from the paper 3. So this is the biochemical pathway which is actually giving rise to the variety of end products, variety of metabolites which are collectively responsible for that overall occurrence of the Stromy fermentation. As we have discussed about the carbon dioxide and the hydrogen, so these two end products are actually the gaseous one, which are actually responsible for the gaseous product formation, giving rise to that specific feature of the observation whenever you are done with the Stromy fermentation. Again, you can see there is also production of a different types of acids, formic acids. Here you are having pyruvic acid, which is getting further converted into the other types of components, including formic acid, acetic acid, again butyric acid. So obviously, because of the presence of these different types of organic acids, also there is a generation of a high amount of acidity, which is also giving this characteristic appearance to the overall content of that particular medium. Okay, and obviously that butyric smell, that smell of a typical butyric acid is obviously because of one of the end product, that is nothing but the butyric acid itself. Under certain types of condition, that organism is having tendency to divert this pathway in production of different types of alcoholic products also, like ethanol, butanol, and the isopropanol. Okay, also generating some of the neutral compounds also, like acetone also. But these are under certain types of conditions which are not commonly being developed under this particular type of a biochemical test. That is the litmus skim milk test. Okay, where we are not actually getting such type of reactions occurring into the overall content of the milk. Okay, so main reactions which are actually responsible, that is the production of gas, CO2 and the hydrogen. Again, production of formic acid, production of acetic acid and the butyric acid. And obviously, because of that, you are supposed to get the high acidity into the milk, and that can develop the curd formation. Okay, and obviously there is also one phenomena that is occurring because of the presence of a milk, and in that milk you are having the casein. There is a formation of a clot. So there is also coagulation of a clot or coagulation of the casein that can form the clot over there. So clot formation, production of the high amount of gas, and production of the curd, these are the basic features which are actually getting involved into that overall occurrence of the stormy fermentation. And on the basis of this, we can actually detect and confirm that there is a presence of a Clostridium perfringens into the given sample, whatever the sample we are analyzing. Okay, so these are the basic type of characteristic which are collectively getting converted, or we can say visualized in the form of a stormy fermentation. Production of the curd, production of the high amount of the gas like CO2 and the hydrogen, and again formation of the clot because of the coagulation of a casein. These are the main three, we can say, the reactions which are occurring into that particular medium, which are responsible for the visualization of a stormy fermentation. Okay. So this is the composition of a medium to be used. Obviously, there are other types of suggestions also. So we can use the different types of modified media which are obtained from the litmus containing and milk containing broth mediums. Okay, but right now we are supposed to discuss with this particular medium itself. Obviously, we can go for the other types of media also, which are actually allowing us demonstration of a stormy fermentation. सो अदर बहुत से वहाँ पे मीडियम है, हाई मीडिया के हैं, कुछ सिग्मा अल्ट्रीज के हैं. सिग्मा अल्ट्रीज जो भी एक कंपनी है उनके तो बहुत स्पेशलाइज टाइप के ऐसे मीडियम है जिसके अंदर सिर्फ क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परफिंजिस से ग्रो होंगे, ताकि वहाँ पे जो भी कल्चर ग्रो होगा वो क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परफिंजिस ही रहेगा. अगर वहाँ पे क्लोस्ट्रीडियम के बाकी स्पेसीज रहेंगे तो वो अलग कलर वहाँ पे डेवलप देते हैं. जहाँ तक प्लेट का सवाल है, सिलेक्टिव अगर मीडियम का सवाल है, तो क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परफिंजिस की ग्रीन टाइप की कॉलोनीज आती हैं. अगर वहाँ पे क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परफिंजिस क्रोमो सिलेक्ट अगर ऐसा कुछ तो नाम है उसका, यू कैन सर्च इट फ्रॉम योर एंड. सो वो वाले अलग अलग मीडिया वहाँ पे डेवलप किए. Obviously, these media can be also used once you are going for the fast detection of this particular pathogen. But as far as the demonstration of stormy fermentation is concerned, this medium is getting preferred one. That is the litmus skim milk broth. And this is the basic composition of this particular medium. You are having one of the basic components, that is the SM powder, which is nothing but the skim milk powder, providing lactose, different types of proteins, and other types of nutrients required for the growth of an organism, which we are cultivating, like amino acids, growth factors, trace elements, etc. Proteins can be basically casein, lactalbumin, or there is one more, I think, just a minute. Yes, so we can say there are different types of proteins which are basically present, being casein as a predominant one. So these all types of nutrients, including lactose, the fermentable sugar, proteins providing different types of amino acids, and other nutrients providing different types of growth factors, etc. These are supposed to support the growth of the highly, we can say, nutritionally demanding type of organism, that is the Clostridium perfringens over here. Litmus, obviously, as you know, the common application of a litmus. Just a minute. So litmus is one of the common and older type of a pH indicating dye, pH indicating component that is being used over here. And again, you are having the sodium sulfide as a terminal electron acceptor for the overall respiration of a Clostridium perfringens. Yes, am I audible to you all clearly? Because there is a heavy raining going on over here. Am I audible? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there a huge background noise?
No, sir. It's okay.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Because heavy raining is going on over. Okay, let's see. What was I discussing? Okay, just a minute. So these are the basic ingredients. So you will say that these are not that much high type of nutritious medium. But obviously, milk or skim milk powder itself is providing the all types of nutrients which are required for the growth of the Clostridium perfringens, like different types of ions, including Fe, magnesium, manganese, etc. These are being provided. Obviously, calcium is also being provided over there. Lactose is one of the fermentable sugar which is also provided over there so that it can carry out the fermentation. So skim milk is one of the basic and the important ingredient in this particular medium. Apart from that, you are having the litmus, that is one of the common type of pH indicating system that is being used. You are having the sodium sulfite, so that sulfite can act as a terminal electron acceptor so that organism can respire out in absence of oxygen, because this is the strictly obligately anaerobic organism. pH is near about neutral, that is 6.8, and this medium to be used for the cultivation and the demonstration of stormy fermentation. Okay. This medium is actually allowing us the differentiation of different types of organisms which are getting inoculated over here on the basis of these different types of actual reactions which are occurring in this particular medium. Okay, so you will say, yeah, right now we are dealing with the stormy fermentation. But stormy fermentation is one of the application, or we can say stormy fermentation is one of the fermentation or outcome which can be observed using the litmus skim milk medium. Otherwise, litmus skim milk medium is actually allowing us for differentiation of all other types of organisms also, including Clostridium species, on the basis of these different types of biochemical reactions like fermentation of lactose, reduction of litmus, formation of clot, digestion of proteins like casein, lactalbumin, lactoglobulin, and again the formation of gas. And that's why, apart from the application of a demonstration of stormy fermentation, this medium is also being used as one of the biochemical test, as one of the biochemical medium for differentiation of other types of organisms also, including members of the Enterobacteriaceae. Okay, that was something as an extra part regarding this medium to be discussed. But obviously, these other phenomena are also responsible for the actual occurrence of the stormy fermentation, mainly the fermentation of lactose with the generation of acids, again reduction of litmus, formation of a clot, and the formation of gas. I have just discussed these four right now. I have just mentioned these four right now because these are actually the main features of a Clostridium perfringens. And because of the outcome, or we can say as an outcome of these basic reactions, basic biochemical reactions, that is the fermentation of lactose to generate the acid, reduction of litmus, formation of clot, and the formation of gas. Because of these four basic type of reactions occurring into this particular medium, we can get the stormy fermentation in our results. Okay. So obviously this medium is containing some of the heat sensitive components, and that's why as far as the overall procedure is concerned, they are just suggesting that you need to sterilize this particular medium, obviously the broth medium, at 121 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes only. 5 minutes in the sense we are not overheating or not allowing or what not causing the denaturation or inactivation of some of the heat sensitive components which are being provided from the milk ingredients like a skim milk powder. And that's why it is commonly suggested that you are supposed to sterilize this ready-made dehydrated medium once it is prepared into the aqueous solution at 121 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes only. Okay. Then you need to inoculate the test culture. I have just put down the star over there. I have just put the star over here because at the star point, you are supposed to have some of the modifications which are required and some of the provisions which are supposed to be must over there. Okay. यहाँ पे 5 minutes क्यों है? Just to avoid the inactivation or a denaturation of some of the heat sensitive components available into the medium. Taste culture in the sense, taste cultures can be obtained from the different types of sources. But if you are looking for the demonstration of stormy fermentation, obviously taste culture is supposed to be the well-known to show such type of results. In this case, we are supposed to use only the Clostridium perfringens. Okay, so taste culture obviously can be available from the ready-made sources also, and sometimes the taste cultures can be also obtained from the other types of environmental samples also, like fecally contaminated water or the clinical samples obtained from the cases of the gas gangrene also. Okay, लेकिन डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन आपको अगर कंफर्म चाहिए, अगर एक्चुअली वहां पे ऐसा रिजल्ट चाहिए, you are supposed to take the standard cultures which are known to show the stormy fermentation, like Clostridium perfringens, the non-stock culture that is available in our laboratory in different types of laboratories. Okay. Once you are done with the inoculation of that particular organism, that is the test culture, you are supposed to overlay that medium with the sterile paraffin oil so that there is a maintenance of anaerobic conditions. Okay. Then you need to incubate that system, that is the tubes of a litmus skim milk medium, inoculated with the test culture and overlay with the sterile paraffin oil at 35 to 40 degrees Celsius for 18 to 24 hours. You will say that there are different types of stars mentioned over there. I have just put down the stars just to show that there is something strictly needed or something is supposed to be modified over there. I have just put the star at 40 degrees Celsius because some of the laboratories are also suggesting that if you want to show or if you want to grow the Clostridium perfringens very well with dominance on others, you can also incubate this medium inoculated with the Clostridium perfringens at 44 degrees Celsius also. Because 44 degrees Celsius is a temperature that is highly optimum for the growth of the Clostridium perfringens. And simultaneously other species of a Clostridium are getting inhibited or lagging for their growth, and that's why you can increase the temperature at something like a 44 degrees Celsius also, because Clostridium perfringens can grow well at 44 degrees Celsius, while other Clostridium species are somewhat getting inhibited or showing the growth a little bit later on. Okay. Again, I have just mentioned star over star at the time of incubation also. It is not necessary that all strains of a Clostridium perfringens will be showing the results within a 24 hours. Sometimes there is no that much development of a strict anaerobic condition, and that's why you need to also maintain or you need to also incubate these tubes for longer period of time also. Sometimes it can go up to the 1 week also. If you want to see just the confirmed results regarding the non-cultures. Okay, that is sometimes also suggested that within a 24 hours you directly cannot interpret the results. You are supposed to incubate for a more period of time also, like up to 1 week also, so that you can get the confirmed types of results if you are knowing for their cultures. Okay, sometimes that incubation time can be also increased one. Depends whatever culture you are using, accordingly you are supposed to get the results. Clinical samples से अगर आपको organism मिला रहेगा as isolate मिला रहेगा, obviously that can also take a more period of time also. So depends what type of culture you are dealing with. You are supposed to incubate for that certain period of time at 44 degrees Celsius for the better growth of the Clostridium perfringens. After sufficient incubation, you are supposed to go for the observation. As the observation is concerned, right now I don't have any tube as such. That is actually real one performed in our laboratory. But I have just tried to put one diagram, one picture that is available from the websites. Okay. So you will see that how is it possible? We are getting the different types of results for the single test culture. But these are not the outcomes of a single culture, but these are the outcomes of a different types of cultures which have been inoculated in these different tubes. All these tubes have been inoculated with the all different types of cultures. Okay, but medium is the same, that is the skim milk medium. Okay, litmus skim milk medium. मीडियम सभी के लिए कॉमन है, सिर्फ सबके अंदर इनोकुलेट किया हुआ ऑर्गेनिज्म डिफरेंट है. ओके, बट यू विल से वेयर वी कैन ऑब्जर्व द स्टोमी फर्मेंटेशन. So before that, I would like to just discuss the other types of outcomes also. So as far as the observation of this particular biochemical test is concerned, we are supposed to divide it into we can say virtual types of parts, because the lower part is actually observed for the reduction of a litmus, because litmus reduction is commonly observed and detected into the bottom part of the test tubes. So as the first observation or probable observation, you can see that white color indicates that litmus has been reduced, and that's why color of the medium is getting cleared one. Initial color मैंने it is purplish one. Okay, initial color जो भी आपको ऑब्जर्वर रहेगा वो पर्पलिश रहता है. मीडियम जब भी अनइनोकुलेटेड रहेगा स्टेराइल मीडियम रहेगा. बिफोर इनोकुलेशन, बिफोर इंक्यूबेशन, समथिंग लाइक द लास्ट वन. लास्ट जो भी आपका दिख रहा है उसका थोड़ा सा लाइट कलर, वहां पे पर्पल कलर का मीडियम ओरिजिनल कलर रहता है मीडियम का. ओके, अगर उस टेस्ट ट्यूब में उस ऑर्गेनिज्म ने जो भी इनोकुलेट किया रहेगा, if that organism is able to reduce the litmus, we are supposed to get the clear color at the bottom side of that medium. So यहाँ पे आपको clear दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे आपको clear दिख रहा है, which means that particular organism inoculated in these two tubes have reduced the litmus present in that particular medium. Somewhat reduction can be also observed over here. थोड़ा सा opaque white color यहाँ पे आ चुका है, means litmus has been also reduced in this particular tube also. If you get the pink coloration in that content of the medium after incubation, it is indicator that lactose has been fermented and overall condition in that particular medium has been acidic one, because litmus is supposed to be turned to pink color under acidic condition. So जहां कहीं आपको pink color दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे दिख रहा है सरफेस के ऊपर दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे भी दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे पूरा का पूरा पिंक हो चुका है, यहाँ पे भी पिंक हो चुका है. That is indicating that lactose has been fermented in these tubes, and that's why high amount of acid is generated, which has made the litmus to turn its color from the purple one to the pink one. So pink color indicates that there is a fermentation of lactose to generate the acids, to maintain the to generate the acidic conditions. Next one, bluish one. Obviously, it is indicating that overall condition into the test tube is a basic one. Means lactose is not fermented, or it can be also something interpreted that other types of components might have been utilized to generate the amines or basic conditions. Okay, at that time you can get that more darkened color or something like a blue color like appearance over there. Okay, so जो भी पर्पल कलर रहेगा उससे अगर बहुत ज्यादा अगर वहां पे ब्लूइश कलर आ रहा है या फिर डार्क कलर हो रहा है, उसका इंडिकेशन ये है कि वहां पे कुछ कंपोनेंट्स यूटिलाइज होके वहां पे बेसिक कंडीशन जनरेट हुई रहेंगी बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ सम ऑफ द अमाइंस एंड द अमोनिया. ओके, so blue color अगर आपको appearance हो रहा है, वहां पे observe हो रहा है, something like the last tube, K indicates that there is a basic condition maintained or generated in that particular tube because there is no any fermentation of lactose, but some of the basic components are being produced because of the utilization of some of the proteinous compounds. Next one, curd form. डायग्राम का जहां तक सवाल है, कर्ड आपको डायरेक्टली यहाँ पे ऑब्जर्वेबल तो नहीं है, आई थिंक डायग्राम उतना क्लियर नहीं है, बट कर्ड इज ऑल्सो प्रोड्यूस एंड दैट कैन बी ऑब्टेन समथिंग एज अ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ लिटिल बिट क्लोट ओवर देयर. यहाँ पे डायग्राम में उतना क्लियर ऑब्जर्वेबल है, लेकिन सच्ची में अगर ऑब्जर्व करोगे तो वहाँ पे क्लोट लाइक अपीयरेंस आपको ऑब्जर्वेबल हो जाएगा. दैट इज द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ अ कर्ड. एंड अगेन वन मोर फीचर दैट इज ऑब्जर्वेबल ओवर हियर, दैट इज द गैस इन दैट कर्ड. यहाँ पे जो भी कर्ड फॉर्मेशन हुआ रहेगा उसी के अंदर आपको गैस एंट्रैप हुआ मिला आता है, वहां पे ऑब्जर्वेबल हो जाता है. सो समथिंग लाइक क्या उसको हम एक्सप्रेस आउट कर सकते हैं, you can observe that there is a bulk mass of something viscous amount or viscous type of biomass is generated, the mass is generated, in that you can observe that gas has been entrapped out, and that is basically the gas entrapped into the mass of the clot or a mass of that curd. Okay, वहां पे वो पूरा का पूरा ऑब्जर्वेबल हो जाएगा. Other types of biochemical reactions can be also occurring, something like proteolysis. Some of the organisms like Pseudomonas are actually not Pseudomonas, I think it is Clostridium sporogenes. I will be just confirming that. Some of the organisms are simply carrying out the proteolysis, that is the digestion of the casein protein available into the milk, and that can give like a brown ring at the top of the tube, something like this, the first tube into the observation picture. So obviously depending on to the overall set of enzymes available in the respective culture, these cultures are able to carry out different types of biochemical reactions, and these can finally result in such type of overall outcomes or overall reactions. And depending on to the overall set of a reaction that is catalyzed by the given organism, you can get the observation different for all types of organisms. But out of this, these three features are actually important and characteristic of a Clostridium perfringens. That is the production of acidity after fermentation of lactose. Production of acidity can lead to the production of a curd, and finally high amount of production of a gas which is being trapped into the clot and that curd area, and because of which you can get observation something like a cloudy type of material, cloudy type of mass develop in this particular tube, which is having presence of a cloudy type of material, the clot like appearance. In that you can see the gas has been entrapped, and that is nothing but the demonstration of a stormy fermentation. Whatever reaction, whatever fermentation that has been occurred in this particular tube, characterized by the production of acid A, production of a curd indicated by C, again production of a coagulation of a casein, that is the clot formation, and in that clot formation, in that overall biomass, you can observe the entrapment of a gas, and that is nothing but the demonstration of stormy fermentation, one of the characteristics of a Clostridium perfringens. So ऐसे टाइप का अपीयरेंस वहां पे आ जाएगा. सभी के सभी अपने अपने अपीयरेंस के साथ सही उतर चुके हैं. यहाँ पे आपको ब्राउन कलर रिंग दिख रहा है, मतलब वहां पे प्रोटियोलाइसिस हो चुका है. यहाँ पे सिर्फ एसिडिटी जनरेट हुआ है, लिटमस यहाँ पे रिड्यूस हो चुका है. यहाँ पे एसिड भी जनरेट हो चुका है, कर्ड भी फॉर्म हो चुका है, लिटमस भी रिड्यूस हो चुका है. यहाँ पे एसिड भी है, कर्ड भी फॉर्म हो चुका है, गैस भी प्रोड्यूस हो चुका है, और यहाँ पे क्लोट फॉर्मेशन भी आपको ऑब्जर्वेबल हो जाएगा. यहाँ पे सिर्फ एसिड है, यहाँ पे एसिड रिलेटिवली कम प्रोड्यूस हो चुका है. यहाँ पे अल्कलाइन कंडीशन है. सभी अगर टेस्ट ट्यूब आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे तो इसके अंदर मैक्सिमम टाइप का वहां पे कुछ ना कुछ चेंज हो चुका है, एंड दैट इज नथिंग बट द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक प्रोसेस occurring because of the stormy fermentation. And this is the demonstration of a stormy fermentation using Clostridium perfringens in culturing medium, that is the litmus skim milk medium. So ऐसे टाइप का अगर वहां पे appearance आ जाएगा, that is the stormy fermentation. Obviously this is somewhat different from all other types of tubes. अगर जहां तक कॉमन टाइप के ऑब्जर्वेशन रहेंगे तो ये ऑब्जर्वेशन आपको बहुत कॉमनली मिल सकते हैं। पूरा का पूरा मीडियम वहां पे पिंक हो चुका है, मतलब एसिड वहां पे जनरेट हो चुकी है। दिस टाइप ऑफ रिजल्ट इज कॉमनली ऑब्जर्व वंस यू आर डीलिंग विद द मेंबर्स ऑफ एंट्रोबैक्टीरियसी। यहाँ पे पूरा का पूरा वहां पे एंट्रोबैक्टीरियसी की वजह से वहां पे पूरा का पूरा एसिडिटी जनरेट हो चुका है और पूरा का पूरा मीडियम थ्रू आउट द कंटेंट वहां पे पिंक कलर्ड हो चुका है। ओके, so this is the demonstration of a stormy fermentation using Clostridium perfringens and using the medium litmus skim milk medium. Okay, though this practical is somewhat easy to perform, that can be appeared something like after this oral discussion. I'm just making it more clear. We haven't performed this particular experiment in our laboratory, and that's why I will be not able to show you the actual results whatever we perform in our laboratory. Okay, but this is one of the biochemical test also. Use of this particular medium, which is called as a litmus milk test medium. This is also one of the common type of biochemical test, and that's why it can be also done using other types of medium or other types of organisms also. लेकिन स्टॉर्मी फर्मेंटेशन का अगर अपीयरेंस लाना है तो ऑब्वियसली आपको कल्चर चाहिए, वो रहेगा क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परफ्रिंजेंस ओनली। अदरवाइज अदर ऑर्गेनिजम्स कैन गिव द रिजल्ट समथिंग लाइक दिस। एसिड जनरेट हो जाएगा, अल्कलाइन कंडीशन आ जाएगी, या फिर वहाँ पे से प्रोटीलाइसिस होकर वहाँ पे ब्राउन कलरिंग आ जाएगा, या फिर सरफेस के ऊपर एसिडिटी आ जाएगी बिकॉज ऑफ द एरोबिक कंडीशन एट द सरफेस। ऐसे टाइप का आपको ऑब्जर्वेशन आ सकते हैं। लेकिन स्टॉर्मी फर्मेंटेशन का अगर डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन रहेगा तो आपको कल्चर वही चाहिए और ये वाला मीडियम यूज करके आपको ऐसा वाला ऑब्जर्वेशन वहाँ पे आ जाएगा। ओके, so this is about the stormy fermentation, and as I already said, I have just added some of the applications of this particular detection of a stormy fermentation. One of the common type of application is a detection of a Clostridium perfringens into the water samples. So being origin from the fecal samples, Clostridium perfringens is commonly available into the fecally contaminated water, and there we can make use of this particular test for the demonstration or detection of a presence of Clostridium perfringens into the different types of water samples which are suspected to be contaminated with the fecal material. And again, as we already discussed, the confirmation of a Clostridium perfringens in wound infection in a cases of a gas gangrene can be also done using this particular biochemical test. And yes, I was talking about this. So this is the battery of a different types of toxins being produced by Clostridium perfringens, because of which such type of conditions are becoming highly fatal once it is remaining untreated. Okay, you can see there is a huge at least 10 के आसपास यहाँ पे अलग अलग टॉक्सिन्स आपको दिख रहे हैं। ऑब्वियसली उसके बावजूद भी इससे ज्यादा भी बहुत से टॉक्सिन्स वहाँ पे अभी डिस्कवर्ड हो चुके हैं। ओके, but these are some of the common and well established type of toxins or virulence factors of the Clostridium perfringens. Obviously this is something as extra, but just I have added once I come across this particular content. Okay, so this was about the stormy fermentation, one of the common example nowadays being considered as a anaerobic fermentation using Clostridium perfringens. Okay, so that's it from my end. If you have any doubt queries, you can ask right now. If you have to add any more points regarding this particular fermentation or particular content, you can also add these points. You are most welcome. Yes, anyone? Yes, please.
Sir, for stormy fermentation, then for a positive result, the tube should have all three, like the reduction of lactose, gas production, and curdling, like curd formation.
Yes. Stormy fermentation, as we discussed, it is nothing but the characteristic of the metabolism of the Clostridium perfringens. Okay, and you are supposed to observe these all types of features. यहाँ पे डायग्राम में इतना क्लियर नहीं आ रहा है, एटलीस्ट एसिडिटी आप कलर चेंज से पता कर सकते हो। कर्ड फॉर्मेशन जो भी आएगा वो भी यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली डायग्राम से तो आप आई थिंक आपके एंड पे या फिर मेरे एंड पे डायरेक्टली हम बोल नहीं सकते। सो कर्ड फॉर्मेशन इज ऑल्सो देयर, वहाँ पे क्लाउडी टाइप का या फिर क्या बोल सकते हैं, आई थिंक यू माइट हैव सीन द कर्ड फ्रॉम योर एंड। ऑब्वियसली कर्ड ऑब्वियसली सभी ने देखा रहेगा, राइट? यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
मिल्क में अगर कर्ड फॉर्मेशन होता है तो कैसे गाढ़ा बन जाता है, राइट? वो मिल्क अगर फर्मेंट होने के बाद अगर कर्ड वहां पे बनता है तो कैसा अपीयरेंस आता है? Yes, I think all of you have seen the curd formation in our kitchen, right?
Yes, sir.
कर्ड फॉर्मेशन जैसे होता है वैसे अपीयरेंस यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. क्लोट फॉर्मेशन हो जाएगा बिकॉज ऑफ द कोएगुलेशन ऑफ केजिन. गैस प्रोडक्शन हो जाता है वहां पे, तो उसकी वजह से इंट्रैपमेंट होकर वहां पे एक बल्क मास अपीयरेंस आ जाता है. सो एसिड प्रोडक्शन, कर्ड फॉर्मेशन एंड गैस प्रोडक्शन इन द हाई अमाउंट दैट इज बीइंग obtained something as an entrap one into the clot. These are the basic type of characteristic for the stormy fermentation. सो स्टॉर्मी फर्मेंटेशन अगर रहेगा तो पहला वाला ट्यूब जो अपीयरेंस, सॉरी पहला वाला नहीं, मिडिल ट्यूब आपको जो भी ऑब्जर्वेशन दिख रहा है दैट इज द स्टॉर्मी फर्मेंटेशन यूजिंग क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परपेंजिस. ओके,
Okay, sir.
बाकी के रीजन जो भी यहाँ पे दिखे हैं वो अलग अलग ऑर्गेनिज्म के लिए रह सकते हैं, डिपेंड्स उनका वहां पे ओवरऑल मेटाबॉलिज्म कहाँ तक जा रहा है, उनके एंड प्रोडक्ट्स क्या हैं, वो रिड्यूस कर रहे हैं कि नहीं लिपिड्स को, या फिर वहां पे एसिड जनरेट कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, अगर लैक्टोज फर्मेंट कर पा रहे हैं कि नहीं, उसके डिपेंड उनके अलग अलग वहां पे रिजल्ट आ जाएंगे. जहां तक आई थिंक ब्लूइश, जस्ट अ मिनट, सुडोमोनास का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक आई थिंक लास्ट वन, आई थिंक इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, के वाला जो भी दिख रहा है वहां पे आई थिंक प्रोटीलासिस दिखा के वहां पे सुडोमोनास ब्लू कलरेशन देता है. ओके, yes, I think yes, last one bluish, that is the pH basic one. okay, लैक्टोज फर्मेंट नहीं हो रहा है वहां पे, बाकी अगर अमाइन वगैरह जनरेट हो रहे हैं तो वहां पे आपको ब्लूइश कलर आ सकता है. ओके, और ब्राउन रिंग इज समवॉट द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ क्लोस्ट्रीडियम स्पोरोजिन्स. प्रोटीलाइसिस होके वहां पे जो भी केजिन रहेगा वो पूरा का पूरा डीजनरेट हो जाता है, डिग्रेड आउट हो जाता है, वहां पे ऐसा ब्राउन कलर का रिंग अपीयरेंस हो जाता है. दैट इज वन ऑफ द कॉमन ऑब्जर्वेशन, somewhat observed commonly for the Clostridium sporogenes, one of the other species of a Clostridium. okay, so एक और एक एप्लीकेशन अभी मुझे याद आया, मैं अभी यहाँ पे शेयर कर सकता हूँ. क्लोस्ट्रीडियम स्पोरोजिन्स और क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परप्रिंजिन्स, उन दोनों को अगर सेपरेट करना रहेगा, डिफ्रेंशिएट करना रहेगा, तो भी ये बायोकेमिकल टेस्ट वहाँ पे यूज करते हैं. क्योंकि अगर क्लोस्ट्रीडियम परप्रिंजिन्स रहेगा तो ये वाला वहाँ पे ऑब्जर्वेशन आ जाएगा, अगर वो स्पोरोजिन्स रहेगा तो यहाँ पे ब्राउन कलर का अपीयरेंस वहाँ पे आ जाएगा. ओके, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दिस टेस्ट इज आई थिंक वन ऑफ द एप्लीकेशन. In one of the application, this test is also helping us to differentiate between the Clostridium sporogenes and the Clostridium perfringens. Okay, ऐसा वाला रहेगा तो Clostridium perfringens, ऐसा वाला अगर ऑब्जर्वेशन आएगा तो Clostridium sporogenes. Okay, yes, anything else? Hope explanation is sufficient for that doubt, is it? Yes, I just forgot to ask Sachin sir. Yes, Sachin sir, if I might have missed something regarding this content, you can share it with us. Yes, Sachin sir.
No, sir, no.
Okay. Just let me check the chat box first. So if there is any doubt query, just a minute. Again, I will be just suggesting to you all, as far as the actual demonstration of a stormy fermentation in our laboratory is concerned, obviously we may need the different types of provisions, different types of changes in overall procedure also. Because whatever the procedure that I have added, that is something related with the one of the biochemical test only. Stormy fermentation अगर actually lab में demonstrate करना रहेगा using the anaerobic culture like Clostridium perfringens, obviously that will be completely different whatever we have discussed. Not completely different, but somewhat different than whatever we have discussed. बहुत सा वहाँ पे प्री प्रोसेसिंग रहेगा सैंपल का, मे बी अवेलेबल अगर कल्चर रहेगा, स्टॉक कल्चर रहेगा, तो बहुत केयरफुली हमें वहाँ पे डील आउट करना पड़ेगा. बहुत केयरफुली इन द सेंस इट इज वन ऑफ द हाईली पैथोजेनिक ऑर्गेनिज्म. एक तो उसका कल्चरिंग करना, मेंटेनेंस करना वो डिफिकल्ट पार्ट है, प्लस उसको केयरफुली हैंडल आउट करना ये अलग सा क्लिनिकली इंपॉर्टेंट और हेल्थ रिलेटेड इंपॉर्टेंट अलग सा एस्पेक्ट है. तो जो भी यहाँ पे जो भी एक्सप्लेनेशन अभी तक हो चुका है, दैट विल बी समथिंग एज अ डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन एट द थियोरेटिकल बेसिस ओनली. एक्चुअल प्रैक्टिकल अगर परफॉर्म करेंगे, नया प्रैक्टिकल है तो मे बी अलग से मॉडिफिकेशन वहाँ पे रहेंगे, वो इंप्लीमेंट करके आपको डेमोन्स्ट्रेट आउट कर देंगे. ओके, सो डोंट बदर अबाउट इट, वी विल बी डूइंग दिस प्रैक्टिकल व्हेनेवर इट इज पॉसिबल इन अवर लैबोरेटरी. ओके, जो भी मॉडिफिकेशन रहेगा उसके हिसाब से आपको वहाँ पे इंटीमेट कर देंगे, उसके बाद आगे प्रैक्टिकल कंटिन्यू कर लेंगे. ओके, सो यस, डू यू हैव एनी डाउट क्वेरी, यस और नो? If no, then yes, we can just switch to the one of the practical that was remain something as a part regarding the AST. So I think we can start with that. Yes, sir. Can we do that?